Hi, everyone. Welcome. I see a bunch of you are here joining us, 21 of you. That's awesome. And I'm a little bit nervous, I'll admit. I don't think I've ever talked to 20 strangers about Lularoe at once. Well, I guess except at a pop-up, but it's a little bit different when I can't see you behind a screen, right? So um, there is a little chat function on the side too. Oh, see, Kenley already figured it out. So we are going to talk about Lularoe and our experiences here, and you are welcome to ask questions and stuff as we go if you'd like, and we'll try to get to those. We are going to try to keep it to a half an hour just because we don't want to take too much of your time. Hopefully you were invited to this webinar by someone on our team, and hopefully you are in our recruiting informational group. If you're not, ask your potential sponsor to add you there because that's also a great place to ask questions and hear from others who are on this journey and doing awesome things in Lularoe, and they can give you lots of advice too. So I'm here tonight with Thea Charles, who is also on my team. And we have another member also hopefully going to be joining us too. And we just wanted to tell you our stories and what we're doing and why we're doing it and how that's going for us. So I got involved with Lularoe in November 2014. That's when I officially signed up. I heard about it a little while earlier, a couple months. My husband and I spent a lot of time talking about it and thinking about it. I know how you feel thinking about that investment. It's kind of a lot of money to hand over at once. I totally understand how you feel being a little bit nervous about that. Ultimately, we decided to go forth with it because I decided that it had to be, in order to have a real opportunity, there's got to be something that you put in, that there's a reason that people were not as successful in other businesses that you didn't have to put a lot of money into. On the other hand, my husband kept reminding me that if I were to start any sort of other business, like a brick and mortar store of any some sort, I would be spending a lot more money. So, it was something that we couldn't pass up. It looks like Teresa's hopping on with us too, so she's going to be talking as well in a little bit. So we got started. There were only about 500 consultants at the time. Nobody knew about Lularoe. I know that some of you live in areas where no one knows about Lularoe, and some of you are sort of coming to us from the online world where it seems like everybody knows about Lularoe. We're up to probably around 8,000 or 9,000 consultants now, which is still not a ton in the grand scheme of things. There are still plenty of people who don't know about Lularoe. But one of the awesome things that we offer is that we all have a different inventory, and our stuff is always changing. So I truly believe that there's room for all of us because, like Thea and I don't live all that far from each other, and we share customers, and they can buy things from both of us at different times because we'll have different things. And women just love clothes. I mean, and you can collect them. Like, it's not something like, oh, I have. Women don't usually say, oh, I have too many clothes and I won't buy anymore. So, that's something that is really awesome for us as consultants, and being able to share that with people and just always be able to find them something great that they'll love. So anyway, when my husband and I decided to do this, I was a stay-at-home mom, and we just thought, well, I'll do this on the side, sell some skirts and leggings and dresses, and it'll be some extra money and some fun. I didn't, in my wildest dreams, think that I would have a calendar full of pop-ups where I never have to beg anyone to book for me. Instead, I have people asking me to book parties, booking out a couple months at a time. I have a wildly active Facebook group where I feel like I'm not even the one promoting Lularoe all the time. It's my customers because they're happy and they're sharing. And I have a team of women. That's probably the least that I expected because I thought, who in the world is going to want to spend this money? I have to be crazy. No one else is going to do this. And a couple months in, I had people, again, coming to me asking about the opportunity. So I was an engineer prior to being a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't love it. There's nothing against working moms. We have plenty of working moms in this business too, but it just wasn't for me, and I wasn't happy. So I didn't want to do something that wasn't going to make me happy and that I wasn't passionate about. And I am finding that with Lularoe, I have far more personal and professional development opportunities. people around me that support me, relationship with my uplines and, you know, people in other teams, and our founder. I have personal relationships with all these people who are cheering me on and are always there to help me, and I have an opportunity to lead others. So, you know, a big part of my why is not just what I'm doing for my own family, but finding those people out there that you know, other families that are benefiting from Lularoe, people on my team who are, you know, quitting their jobs or taking vacations or just finding themselves with so much more confidence than they ever had before. So Thea was one of the, you know, first people. I think she was among the first 5 or so to join my team. So we've been in this together for a while. So yeah, just can you share, you know, why you joined us and how it's been for you?
Sure. That's great. I don't want to back. But so about a year ago, I went to a pop-up for a mutual friend of ours, and I was like, I don't know about this Lularoe business. I don't really know what it is. It was really new to Massachusetts. And I thought, okay, I'll go. Maybe I'll find a maxi skirt or something. And I remember I didn't want to be the first one in because I want to be cool, right? So I came like a few minutes late, and I walked in, and there were just like women everywhere. They had like, people had like handfuls of clothes that they were like, this is my stash, this corner is mine, and I was like, what is going on here? So I tried on a few things. I went in the bathroom, tried on things, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, you know, I have a few kids, I work full time, and I just don't really have time to go shopping and whatnot. And it's not fun. It wasn't fun back then. And I was like, wow, all this stuff feels great. I really love it. And you know, as I was there, you know, I got the maxi skirt I wanted, and I was there, and I was just like looking around, like, you know, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. And I didn't say anything to Kara, but I basically signed myself up before I left that place. So
I do remember that you messaged me like later that day asking for an Amelia that you had seen at the party.
yeah, that is great. Because I was like, oh, I don't really need that dress, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need that dress. So yeah, so I went home. I talked to Al about it. Al's my husband, and we're like, you know, tax season's here. Maybe this is what we should do to invest in it. You know, we pay a lot in daycare, and I wanted to have extra money for vacation. That was like my big goal. Like, I want my vacation fund back so we can like go somewhere, go to Disney, do something. And so I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. Let's see. So I decided to do it, and it's just been amazing. You know, I work in a busy hospital lab. And we do like organ transplants, and I'm at work like 55 hours a week. You know, I'm really busy, but it's just been it's been awesome. You know, it doesn't feel like work. Like, it's work. I'm definitely working, but it's just fun. It's just a different creative thing for me. And each month I think, oh, you know, we did really good this month, and then the next month happens, like, wow, we did even better. So it's just been an amazing journey, and I feel like I've gained more confidence. I felt like I was a pretty confident person, but it's helped me not only growing in Lularoe, but I feel like it even helps me at work. Like, I'm just a different person. It's just been really good. And the one thing that I wasn't expecting from all of this, you know, making extra cash, being confident, all that stuff is really great. But I didn't really realize how the friendships I was going to make. You know, I always think it's really important to find people who have the same type of goals as you, and just to have like this whole sisterhood of people who I can talk to all day long. You know, we text each other, and it's just really nice. It's just been, the whole experience has just been really awesome. And you know, I understand how you feel right now. You're probably like really nervous and kind of excited, and like, I don't know, but this has just been like the best decision. So, you know, I hope that you all can like join us on this journey, because it's really been amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, it just really does. Yeah, the friendships, like, you know, and we get to go away together, like, so we really got to bond at convention, and then our leadership training, and you know, we message each other and a lot, and you know, we all get advice from each other and just make each other laugh and whatever, and yeah, I mean, Thea and I have like known each other for a long time, but now we really know each other. So you know, it's really a lot of fun that way. And so Teresa is newer on our team, but she is a rock star. So if anyone is like scared of like, oh, well, it's going to take me a long time to, sell a lot or build a team or qualify for a cruise. Oh, I would never get to go on a cruise. Teresa can prove you wrong. So why don't
Thanks.
you tell us? Yeah.
Sorry I'm late. Hi, Kara. Hi, Thea. I don't think we've ever met, but hopefully soon in real life. Um, my name is Teresa Spittle. I'm in Central Pennsylvania. I started at the end of October of 2015, and how I came about Lularoe was probably the same way that a lot of you did. My neighbor came home. We were sitting outside, and she had this bright yellow bag, and she said she was at this clothing party, and I had never heard of what I couldn't. I think I called it Lularoe or something as I was telling people about it. But she showed me all of her clothes, and my husband is actually the one who said, "Wow, that looks like stuff you'd wear." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it kind of does. You know, show me more." So she went inside, got all of her Lularoe stuff, showed me, and I was hooked. I booked a party with what ended up being my sponsor, Chelsea. She actually was able to fit me in within like a week and a half, so I invited as many people as possible. We had the best time. I earned free clothes, and I was hooked, just like probably you are right now. And so what I did was a little bit of, I call it market research, but it's also called shopping. I searched for every online Lularoe group I could find, and I looked through all their inventory, and I fell in love, and I spent a lot of money, and I kind of looked at what everyone was doing, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I thought maybe this is something I could do. It came at a really big part of my life. I had just had my second child, my son, and my dad had just passed away. He was terminally ill, so I was looking for kind of some kind of outlet for myself. I felt like, you know, I work full time. I have two little ones, 2 and under, and I needed something for me. And what I kind of thought was going to be, ow, sorry, my cat just jumped on me. Sorry about that. What I thought was going to be just like a hobby and, you know, a little extra money every month actually turned into being like something that I really think like saved me. It brought me back to me. I don't want to get emotional. I am always an emotional wreck, but I have built my self-esteem as a person, as a business person, as a mother, as a wife, a friend. Oh my goodness, sorry. So it's really meant a lot to me. And that's why I put so much back into it. With this business, this is the first thing that I've ever done as a job that I actually get paid for the hard work I put in. The more you put in with this business, the better you do. And that's not just money, because money isn't everything, but in relationships with your customers, with your upline, with your downline, with girls that aren't even on your team. As Kara mentioned, I actually qualified for cruise very quickly, and that was because I followed the lead of my sponsor and of my upline. And I highly recommend doing that. Listen to the people that came before you, because they know what's up. But on the cruise, I really, as Thea said, I built relationships with people that I have never met before who really, truly, honestly want me to succeed. And they don't even know me from Adam. But I know that I left with 174 friends. Actually, probably more, because we made friends with a lot of the husbands, too. So for me, this has, like, absolutely changed our lives. We had no idea that we could make the money that is possible. And also just build the relationships that are out there through this common vehicle of selling clothing. You know, you think of it as like just this, you know, direct sales company, but it is so much more. And meeting Mark and Deanne, like I could just go on probably, Kara, for hours because I'm on the cruise high right now. But it really has lifted me up, and I know that I am capable of so much more than what I thought when I signed up, and that's why I'm so excited for everyone who's looking at the opportunity and really thinking about what can this do for me, but what can I also do for Lularoe. We are at such a pivotal point in this business that now is the time to join, now is the time to jump on board, all in, and you can do so many big things right now. So I'm so excited for all of you.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you like mentioned Mark and Deanne and doing for others because for me, um, it's been such a great opportunity to get to know them and to think about what they've created here is so much more than just clothes. It gives us the opportunity to be generous and to learn more about ourselves and others. Um, and for those of you who don't know, Deanne, our founder, she began this business by sewing some skirts out of her house and doing these parties and then eventually, finding some other women to sell the skirts for her, and they became the first consultants eventually. Um, and she just, wanted to provide for her family and make women feel beautiful, and that's what she was doing. And so this is kind of related to one of the questions that Kenley is asking is how to be successful in selling Lularoe. And I think a big part of it is, well, Teresa mentioned one, and it was kind of like just to be blunt, listen to your uplines. When I started doing this, I went and followed what my sponsor and her sponsor did because I saw that they were doing great. And some of the things that, the part of the reason I believe that they did great are because they are rule followers and they are givers. And so if you follow the way that Lularoe has set this up for us, I think that is your best chance at succeeding. And if you're generous to others and really try to emulate what Mark and Deanne are doing for us, so that's relating back to the other piece. I think about them and what they're doing, and I think, well, it sounds cheesy, but what would Deanne do? She's just, so generous. They're all about us blessing others and just helping people and being a day maker. So if you can make someone's day by giving them a pair of leggings or giving them a maxi skirt, our Hostess Rewards program, it's not set in stone. You can give somebody a little something extra. I'm just throwing things out there, but those little things make people like you and remember you and want to shop with you. By being involved and happy in your Facebook group, happy on social media, not airing your dirty laundry. And I'm not just talking like Lularoe, but if you're just a happy person on Facebook, people are going to be interested in what you're doing. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I definitely think what you're saying, Kara, is what I tell my team that, the clothes, I haven't had to sell one piece of clothing. I tell my team the clothes sell themselves, customer service sells your business, and if you're one of those people that people like to be around, they're going to gravitate towards you, and they're going to want to see what you have next, and they're going to want you at their house on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon and have their friends meet you. It's just about creating those relationships and having fun. We have so much fun. I have a hard time even calling it a job. Yes, we hustle. Do not get me wrong. We work hard, but we play hard. So, I think you're hit the nail on the head. It's about, doing good and being a good person and just putting positivity out there. And that's one awesome thing I've learned just from my upline before I even went on the cruise is just being positive. And when you find yourself in that positive light, it really changes your life. Eliminating negative is the best thing you can do for yourself, and that's what Lularoe is all about. Everyone's so happy. I just still can't get over how happy everyone is on that cruise, and I'm glowing from it.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a nice tan from it too.
I do. I don't nice feeling sunburn, but that's okay.
Something that actually, so Thea, when we started that recruiting group a little while, I think it was just last week, something you wrote. I've still been thinking about it every day. And you don't know this, but I'm going to tell you now. So Thea wrote that. She said, I did not have any sales experience, but I know how I like to be treated as a customer. And that's very true. So most of us don't have experience selling clothes or selling anything. My husband is in sales, so it's ironic that I'm doing this now. But I never, really sold anything before. And, but it's what we're talking about. It's being nice to people and doing the right thing and, making people happy that way. And yes, the customer is right, but we're not giving in to people. We're doing things because we want to, and it just makes people feel good. So I think a lot of you guys hopefully are aware of the onboarding procedures. Please talk to your sponsors about getting your paperwork in and getting signed up to be on our waiting list, in the queue, I should say. So because Lularoe is growing tremendously fast right now and everybody wants Lularoe, they are only taking a certain number per day, and that's just simply so that they can accommodate everybody's orders and get everything out in a timely fashion, and have, support people to help everybody. So as we grow, there is a little bit of a waiting period. So if you are, like even just 80%, sure you want to do this and that you'd be ready in a few weeks to sign up, I would highly suggest that you get that ball rolling by talking to your sponsor, getting the paperwork in, get yourself signed up. It's really not that difficult. Actually, so Christine is asking a question. I see a lot of consultants are young moms. Do you think someone older would be able to establish the types of relationships? Christine, we definitely have women of all ages on our team. Does anyone else Thea, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, this is a business about relationships, so you just have to be yourself, and people like you will like, they're gonna like you. It doesn't matter about age, so Lularoe's for everyone.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that, Christine.
Christine loves Lularoe. We know that. So.
Yes, she does.
But yeah, I have seen women. Actually, Teresa, women of all ages are probably on the cruise, right? And different family situations and all that. So that's a good.
Absolutely, and not just the people there from Lularoe. There were a lot of people on the boat that had never heard of us, but because we were flocking in such a huge group with our lanyards and our shirts and our colorful patterns, everyone was asking, what is this? What is Lularoe? Like, how do I get some? And it was women of all ages. I will say my mom wears this stuff. If she's watching this ever, she's not old. I'm not saying she's an old person. I'm just saying it's for all age groups. And it's modest clothing, so it's not, nothing's going to be hanging out. But that being said, I've had women of all ages at my parties, and also when I shop at different boutiques or different stores, it's not always young people who are working in the boutiques. So, if you're willing to put yourself out there and build those relationships, like Kara and Thea said, you will have no problem, Christine.
Right. And also, Christine, I see you mentioned not having a large social circle. That's not a problem. I mean, a lot of my friends are all over the country. I don't have a lot of friends in Massachusetts, and I haven't had any trouble here. It's amazing how you'll meet one person, you'll meet their friends, and people love Lularoe. They love the product, and if you're a nice person, they're going to love you too. So you really don't have to worry about having a huge social circle ahead of time.
Yeah, a lot of people will say like, oh, I don't think my friends will like this, or I don't want to ask my friends to book pop-ups or whatever. I mean, I have a few of my really close bestie best friends that don't own a piece of Lularoe, don't care, haven't asked me anything. And it's okay, we're still friends, it's just not their thing, or, they don't get it. They're still my friends. But I still have plenty of business that ended up being sort of that second circle. So a friend of a friend hears about it and comes to you and asks questions. College friends have come out of the woodwork. That's a big one. People come out of the woodwork from years ago, asking about Lularoe, and and then they've got their friends and all that. So so I think you have to be willing to network. This is kind of related to another question that people often ask: what if you have something that doesn't sell? Well, we like to say everything sells, because it really does. But part of that is you're not going to always be showing your inventory to the same people. You're trying to network with that, circle, the people in the circle outside that circle, because every new group of women that sees your stuff, it's new to them. How long does it take from submitting the paperwork? I'm going to give you my best guess here. This is not official Lularoe word, because we don't really know. It's changing a lot. I'm going to guess from 3 to 6 weeks. I'm saying that based on it changes daily, depending on how many people they can get in that day, possibly depending if people decide to drop out of the queue, if they, and then depending if sometimes they are working overtime and on weekends. So, it's varying, but I would probably plan on 3 and up to 6 weeks at this point. And of course, if we have any updates, we will post those in the group. But that way, so if you submit your paperwork, you have some time to get things together. Does someone want to answer Jessica's question?
Sure. I wear Lularoe every day. I wear a piece of Lularoe wherever I go, and also it's a really good way to. Oh, I skipped a question. Sorry, this is Rose's question. But anyway, it's a great way to start a conversation and build those networks. Someone will come up to me and be like, "Oh, I love your dress." Like, "Oh, really? Thanks so much. It's Lularoe. Have you ever heard of it?" And you just start a conversation that way. So, I wear it every day.
As far as making a profit, so something to expect in this business, and this is just me being honest with you and wanting you to succeed. You're not going to profit overnight immediately because yes, you've made an investment. Another piece of this is that you need to continually reinvest. So it's not like you have these $5,000 worth of clothes and you sell all of that and then you reorder. There's going to be a period of a few months where you're putting money back in. So you're selling clothes. You're going to want to reorder at least what you sold, and then we're going to suggest that you are ordering more than that too, because we want you to build your inventory to more pieces. And your sponsor can guide you through that also. So most people find that if they are booking pop-ups and making an effort and selling, that it's like about 3 to 4 months by the time they start profiting. And once you do, yes, the profit margins are very good. Then you also have the opportunity to sponsor somebody and have a bonus check that really helps out nicely. And so yeah, I hope that answers your question. And you can also message me and post in our Facebook group too if you want to know more about that. Guidelines about how you need to sell. So you can sell through live parties and through your Facebook group in flash sales. You cannot have a brick and mortar store. You cannot set up an e-commerce site. You cannot, meaning you can't set up a website where you just sell stuff through that. You can't sell on eBay. You can't sell through any of those apps I don't know, I've heard of something called Poshmark, or there's apps out there for selling used clothes. You can't do that. So basically it's online pop-ups and in-person pop-ups. And a big part of that is creating a sense of urgency. So the clothes aren't for sale all the time. You're hyping up that this is when they're for sale and this is what I have. And then next time you have something different.
Do you want me to take one, Kara?
Yes.
Okay, so Rose's question, I just see, how far in advance would you all recommend start getting the word out? I would say, I don't see any problem with as soon as you submit your paperwork, start creating your group. Your sponsor will lead you what's next. Obviously, I wouldn't necessarily schedule a pop-up or schedule your launch until you've placed your order, you have tracking, you know when it's going to be there. Would you agree with that, Kara? It's okay to start creating your page, building the hype. I did that as soon as I knew I was jumping on. I wanted to see what kind of yes.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word.
I mean, that's the only thing I would caution against is you wouldn't want to be making any sort of promises this is what I'm gonna have, or you don't want to promise any actual sales until you know that you're when your inventory is coming.
Right.
You wouldn't want to schedule anything for sure.
Yeah,
but definitely start getting people excited about it. Yeah, and I mean, you could, start, you could have people sort of in your queue to book pop-ups and maybe offer them some sort of extra incentive for being among your first however many people to book a party. You could definitely do some stuff like that. And I'm seeing Ashley's question too. So yeah, we're really glad to, have you interested, and totally respect what you're saying about being a, busy working mom with little kids. So I think it's awesome that you would want to help somebody. I would start by, I don't know who you have already spoken to about the opportunity, who invited you to this group, but I would start with that person and see if they need an assistant. And if not, I bet we could find you someone who needs some help. I know, I do know of some other girls in our group that use virtual assistants as well as live, like in-person. I have a lady that comes over and helps me hang inventory and get it ready for taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would start by talking to the consultant that you've already mentioned the business to and see if she needs someone, and maybe if not, we can put it out there to find you someone else. Thea or Teresa, you want to take another one?
Okay. Organizational tips. I think that depends on the person. It depends on what kind of organizational person you are. I don't find myself to be one ever, but I have had to get myself there. I try to look for help now. That was one tip that I took, is trying to get help from someone. My husband has jumped on board, which is awesome. As far as like organizing for online parties, Post-its are your best friend. Keeping, our back office, it has a great tool for invoicing and keeps everything straight. As far as lugging all of your clothes to a pop-up, I use IKEA bags. Some people use garment bags or tubs. It really depends on what works for you. I'm not sure.
A lot of things you'll figure out as you go too, and
Yeah.
it's okay to change it over time.
Yeah, it did for me. I tried the garment bags and I did not like them. So you'll learn as you go.
Yeah. Give yourself permission not to worry about the small things, and to, I think everyone kind of has their own style and, has probably changed things several times and will change things more as inventory grows and things change. So, yeah. The 3 to 6 weeks, I'm guessing that would be to the time to place your order. So then, thinking probably like another week for ground shipping.
Depending on where you are in the country, that's gonna.
Yeah. So the process of receiving the call. So you've sent you have to send in your paperwork. And then I believe they email you and tell you that it's been reviewed, and then you call and set up an appointment to place your initial order, and then you would actually have a phone call where you place your initial order, and then it's sometime after that, within the next few days, it'll be shipped to you. So these are all great questions about like the logistical things. So I do kind of want to wrap up, just because I'm sure people. I don't want to. I know we might be losing some people to bedtimes and whatnot. But these are all great questions to also bring back to our Facebook group, and so that other people can get the answers as well. So I really encourage you to do that, especially logistical things about keeping track of things and making sure you do all the sign up things. Your sponsor can definitely guide you through that, so that you feel like you have a point person one-on-one who's going to help you. Your sponsor is someone who is going to be there for you and make sure that things that you're taking care of, and she's going to give you everything she knows. I knew a woman a long time ago and who did, before I was in direct sales, and she told me that she made 6 figures in her direct sales business, and that just blew my mind. And she said, well, this is how I did it. I gave it all away. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then we had to think about that, and we talked a little more. She says, I taught those people everything I knew. I shared everything I had with them, because their success was my success. So I think about that a lot, just about every day when I'm out there helping people. I want my team to be successful, because I want them to enjoy what they're doing, and I want this to benefit them and their families. And actually, I will address Jessica's question, because I do think it's an important one. So having a business partner that does not live near you. There are a couple other teams out there. Actually, I think you should ask this in the group, because there are some teams out there that do work it that way. So I'm sure there's a lot of pros and cons. Personally, I'm very hands-on. I feel like I'm very type A and hands-on about my business. And I do have such a strong in-person presence with in-person pop-ups and all of that. So for me, I don't know that it would work that well. But there are people out there that probably have different setups. But I do always think back to what Deanne wanted to create here with, creating personal experiences for people, and that, one-on-one interaction and all of that. So, yeah, I think, are we good? Anyone else want to add anything?
No, I'm really excited for everyone who's on here. I can't believe how many people are asking all these great questions because, I mean, when I did the opportunity call, when I signed up, I was too afraid to ask any questions. And definitely you should be as informed as possible before you make this big decision, but I really hope that everyone does decide to join us, and we would love to have you, and I would love to just share the Lula love, as we say, because it's just been awesome for me, and I really hope that everyone has the same experience.
All right. So thank you, everyone. Again, please come back to our Facebook group, and let's keep these conversations going. So
Thank you.
you.
Bye.